how to go from 0 to 100,000 a year. So this is starting off. Obviously, you are new, you're an entrepreneur, and you want to make $100,000 a year. I remember when I first started off in business, that was my goal. How do I make $100,000 a year, right? Like, what can I do? How do I do it? So forth. At that time, I actually was in personal training and I wanted to make it obviously in personal training and so forth. But I'm going to show you how you can do it in any business. But the challenges and things that people forget about and don't understand how to make 100,000 starting from scratch. A few things that you have to get into is understanding, do you have the right business model set in place? Obviously, you have to have the tenacity, the drive, the discipline to be able to put in the work, not give up, not quit, and put in that effort. But most importantly, it's the business model. So if you have a good business model, you can reach 100,000, a million, 5 million, 10 million, so forth. But a bad business model, it makes it really hard to achieve those numbers. And a lot of people don't understand that. So when you first pick and choose a business, you want to make sure a handful of things go into it, right? Like, is it something that people want? Obviously, that's number one. A lot of times people start a new business. It's something new. Nobody, necessarily knows about it. So not many people, there's not a big demand. Supply and demand is really your number one thing. So is there a big demand? Obviously, personal training at that time, there's still a demand. There's a lot of demand for it. And other business models, if you think about, you want to look into, figure out what is that has a high demand and that you can make sales. Are people already doing it? Is it something new to the industry? Nobody's ever heard about it. Those are ones that are a little more challenging because a lot of businesses fail when they're new to market, they're new technology, they're a new service or a product that nobody knows about it, because you have to now educate your consumer to do that. Obviously, if it's something everybody already knows about or everybody already purchases or a large part of people already purchase, then it makes it really easy. So first things first is understanding your business model and making sure your numbers math out to be able to reach that goal of 100,000. I guess the last thing is you have to have a system in place to be able to generate leads or sell products on a consistent basis to be able to, get to 100,000. But let's just go to the numbers real quick, and we're gonna look at my screen here. I'm gonna show you a calculator, and you can share this, you can download this. I'm gonna have the link there, but please just make a copy of it and save it for yourself. Otherwise, it'll change and it might mess it up for people in the future if they want it, because it's just going to be a Google Drive, and I'm going to dive into it. So let's go into it right here. So this is just a basic business income calculator. So let's just think of COG. If you don't know what that terminology is cost of goods, or your hourly rate, or the rate of what you sell. So let's go back to personal training or massage therapist or a service-based business. Let's say I charge $25 a session or an hour, and I sell 30 sessions for that week. So if that's an hour-long session, that's 10 hours 3 times a week. I'm working 3 times a week at 10 hours and I'm charging $25 an hour. So most people, when they start a business, they charge too little, and they make that mistake. So if I charge $25 an hour and I sell 30 and I'm working 30 hours a week, let's just say I put them all on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 hours, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I take off Tuesdays and Thursdays. So that's actually how I set up my business when I first started, because I'm about working smarter, not harder. So my weekly income is $750. And if you look up here, this is just a simple math formula of this sum, B6 here, which is this rate times this rate, and that gets me my weekly income, right? My monthly income, or really you should be billing every 4 weeks. So 4-week income. So if you're a personal trainer, if you're a massage therapist, or anybody or you're billing monthly, make sure you set it to bill every 4 weeks, because you'll make an additional amount of money, and it's based off every week people come in and so forth. So you're losing money if you're billing monthly. You'll make way more money if you bill every 4 weeks versus every month. So then your annual income, right? That number is basically 52 times this weekly income. So there's 52 weeks in a month. So obviously you'll make way more charging that every 4 weeks or a weekly basis, because if you do 12 months in a year, you're making less than if you do 52 weeks and bill that way. So a tip for any business out there that's billing monthly, if you change it to every 4 weeks, you'll naturally make more money. So notice if I charge 25 and I work 30 hours a week, I'm never gonna get my goal of 100,000. That's 39,000 a year, which is not what the video is about. It's how to make 100,000. So if I naturally just charge 60, now I'm charging more, I'm making more money a week, I'm making more money every 4 weeks, and I'm getting close to that 100,000. So now obviously if I just go and work 40 hours a week, I go to 124. Or if I go back to 30 because I want to work less and make more, and I just charge 65 an hour, I'm at that 100,000. Typically, when I first started, I was okay making only 93,000 a year and working only 10 hours Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and having a lot more freedom. And that's how I structured my business when I first started in the personal training industry. Obviously, this relates to anything. So if I have a product that I sell and I want to make $100,000 a year, so no different. So cost of goods. So again, you want to use your profit. You can also put a calculation with your margins, so it has your expenses and your profit and loss and a more complicated math problem, but we're just going to keep it simple. Let's say your profit on your cost of goods is $60, or let's say it's less. You have a $30, you sell it for 60, but your margins are 50% and you make $30. So now I have to sell 60, right, or 70 every week to hit 100,000. Obviously, the beauty about having products, it's not taking your time. Where a personal trainer, right, let's say you're an hour session, well, now you're losing your time for that session, right? Where it costs a good, where you don't have to be there and you sell it, you're making money no matter what. So if this is t-shirts, if this is underwear, if this is software, if this is, peanut brittle, it does not matter. So if I sell 70 of them, I make 100,000. So if I focus my goal of always selling 70 a week, then I make 100,000 a year. So then obviously if I go to 200, then I go to 312,000 a year. So now I can scale my business more effectively because I understand my numbers. And this is really crucial. So many people do not know their numbers when it comes to business from a profit and a loss standpoint. Knowing your numbers is number one from knowing if your business model is going to be successful or not. So this is just a real basic calculation. So this will get a little more into the service base. Let's say it's a weekly model. You charge weekly. So let's say you have 20 clients where you charge $69 a week. Let's say you have another 20 clients where you charge $59 a week, and 20 clients where you charge $49. This was actually based off of a salon where they did skincare, some other things. So based off of these numbers, at 20 clients, every 4 weeks they make $1,380 on this group, $1,180 every 4 weeks on this group, $980 on this. So a year, it's based off of these numbers, and total per year, just a calculation of all these three numbers. You can obviously add more data in here. You can adjust this. So if you had 100 clients in here and so forth, it allows you to scale. So this was based, like I said, off a salon. So the session, each session was 20 minutes long. So the number of sessions in a week would be 180, right? Hours per week. And it was just a calculation based off of being that it took 20 minutes to do that session, divided by an hour, 60 minutes in an hour. So that came into 60 hours per week that needed to be worked. So now you know, okay, so I have 60 hours a week. I can't do that myself, but if I hire somebody, then I can break that up. So this is 12 hours per day. So if you have 2 people, you can service those clients. So depending on your expenses, you can calculate that in and figure out what your profit and loss is. So diving into that next step from a calculator, and hopefully I'm not going through this too fast, but you can always rewind and watch it again. Here's the monthly model right? So let's say I have a digital marketing company or an advertising company or a software company, and I sell things at $3,700 each, right? So my monthly retainer rate is $3,700, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 clients. So it's only 7 clients, right? And that makes me $23,000 in income. But my expenses, right? So now I'm calculating my expenses here. The monthly business fee, my website costs $500 a month. My CRM costs $250. My ads that I'm spending is $5,000. Let's say I'm my merchant service is another, $600 a month, right? So now, but then I have other things that I'm selling. I have SEO here at $997 a month. I have a contractor that I'm paying in expenses of $10,000. So I hired somebody to pay them $100,000 a year. And so now if we come down here, my total income versus my total expenses gets me a total profit per month here of $6,800. So again, if we base it off of a monthly standpoint to get the annual income, so annual income, right, would be this here. So we just come in here and hit the sum button, and I want to take this and then come up here and just times it by 12 because I'm doing it on a monthly basis. But like I said, if I bill weekly, that lowers the rate. It gives a perception that you're charging less and you're making actually more money. So now if you look at my annual income is only $82,000. So what could I do to my business here? So my model is like, hey, you know what? I'm going to hire this contractor part-time, and now I only have to pay him $5,000. Well, now my income just went to $142,000. Or if I still have to need that person at $100,000 or $10,000 a month, right? So let's just say I add another client, and now you can see my total income, my total expenses, I'm getting at $126,000. So this is crucial. Everybody needs to use this. The link's down there. You can download it. You can make a copy of it on your Google Drive and save it based off of your numbers. Obviously, you can go on Upwork. You can find somebody who's phenomenal at Excel and create one that's very specific to your business. This is just a rough setup of how you can do it based off of the number of sales that you're making, your hourly rate, or your service, number of clients, all those things. So once you understand your numbers, you can then be very successful in your business to know how you can make 100,000. So let's say I need, right? This is clients or cost of goods, right? Doesn't matter. So let's say I need 30 people to, and my rate is 60 and I need 30 to get to 100,000. Let's go 40, right? To 124,000. So that means if, let's say it's a personal trainer massage therapist and they work out 3 times a week. So let's go 30 to make the math easier. So that's 10 hours each week because each client is coming 30. So it's good. Normally you should always factor in people leave town, they come in, right? So you should do 40, which will probably do about 30 and hit your goal. So let's do 30 from a math standpoint. So you need to work 10 hours, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and that would be 30 hours at $60 an hour. That gets that $93,000 a week. So knowing that, that means I have to get 10 clients that train 3 times a week. So, if it's, whatever, let's say you're selling t-shirts or you're selling peanut brittle or software or whatever, and you sell, your rate is $60 for that piece of software and you sell 40 of them, right? You have to sell 40 of them every week, to be able to hit that 124,000. So once you know your numbers of how many clients you need, how many patients you need, the number of products that you need to sell to reach that, then now like what do I need to do to either generate the number of leads that will get me to that number of appointments to get me that number of sales. And it's just reverse engineering of making sure of like, hey, every 100 appointments booked, I close 10%. So that's 10 people. So that reaches my goal of 10 people in the week to be able to make those sales. Or I'm going to work on making one sale every week and for 10 weeks, and that gets me to that 100,000 on an hourly standpoint. So knowing your numbers is very important, because then you have a goal to go after, right? Now you can have the discipline, the tenacity to focus on exactly what you need to do. The next aspect is, how do you get that business? How do you generate those leads? How do you generate those sales? Well, really, it comes down to marketing, and you have to have a system in place, right? What is your system to generate sales on a consistent basis? So the system is going to be dependent on what you're selling, how much the cost of your goods are or your services, and then you can create the proper funnel that attracts, converts, engages, sells, and then connects. What determines the best system? It's really always the price and the offer that you have out there. So if you have an item that's only $7, right? It does not take much effort to sell it, but you have to sell a lot more of them, right? So depending on how many that is, right? So you need to sell about 250, 270, right? 280 to get to 100,000 if you're selling $7. But it doesn't take much effort to convince somebody to buy something for $7. If you have something for $100 or $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 or plus, it takes a lot more trust, credibility, positioning of yourself as being the authority for people to purchase that item from you. So depending on if you have a service-based business, typically you want a offer to an application to a booked appointment, so then you can make that sell. Or if they show up and you have an appointment and you do that. If it's a product, you need to have obviously an advertise, drive traffic to a sales page, to an order page, then either upsell them, downsell them, upsell them again to get an order confirmation to get the most money on them. So the first thing that you really need to do is always, how do you engage customers more effectively? It's really just give first. But before you get into that, the system to attract clients, you need to, one, know your audience. You need to then, once you know your audience, you can craft the right message and then put together an offer that will be so irresistible that people can't help themselves to purchase or become a lead and so forth. So when you first get started, you should always break down and figure out what your customer avatar is. So this is an avatar that kind of fits well with my business. E-commerce Emma. So I'm trying to attract people who have e-commerce business because I can help them make, double, triple, quadruple, 10x their business and make way more sales in their business. So for example, she's 25, she's female, she's single, she lives in London. Her quotes are consistently learn about new tactics to market other products, occupation, job titles, her sources of information, the books she reads, magazines, blogs, websites she visits, conferences, gurus, others. Then her goals and value. Her goal is to build a system that allows her to increase revenue from her business on autopilot, get more people to visit her website, increase conversions, grow subscriber lists. Values, obtain immediate reward, benefits. She wants to make sales. She wants to make money. She wants to be profitable. A system that she can understand, a price, quality services. Her challenges. Emma's struggling on getting traffic to her website, acquiring subscribers, selling her products, getting all the DM strategies to work together. Direct messages is a DM. Pain points. Emma's afraid of failing on building on her e-commerce business, right? She's invested a lot of money into it. She doesn't want to fail. She wants to succeed. Her objections and her roles, her purchase process, objections to the sale. She can't afford to pay an agency yet. Another freelance agency offers her a better deal. Emma roles and purchase process. Emma's an e-commerce entrepreneur who has her own e-commerce business when choosing a marketing. So the more specific you can get when you create a customer avatar, it makes it really easy to then create a message and an offer that's so irresistible that they cannot say no. So first step is you got to create your customer avatar. Next, you can dive into the messaging and the offer, right? What is it an offer and why is it so important? When you can make an offer so irresistible, for example, if I say, I'm going to give you $100,000 if you work with me today, and if I don't turn that into $1 million, I will make sure and not charge you anything, or I will pay you $1 million yourself. That is an irresistible offer. That's something you couldn't refuse. So no matter what, you're going to get $1 million with my services, working with me. So that's my personal guarantee, right? And I'm not personally guarantee that. I'm just using that as an irresistible offer. That is quite remarkable if anybody offered that. So how do you obviously position yourself as authority? You always want to provide value first. The more value you give, the more you receive. It's just the law of reciprocity. So giving will get you receiving, and that's just the cycle of abundance. So the more you give, the more you receive from that individual from others. I mean, obviously, as a little ploy, this might be one reason why I'm doing this video. I'm giving a ton of information to hopefully become more successful. And at that point, eventually it will come back to me some way, shape, or form, obviously. So when you're creating that offer, you want to think about what problems they might have. So what is your offer and how are you solving their problems? That offer, or right, for example, this video is building authority and hopefully credibility and trust and positioning me, and hopefully you're liking me at the same time. So then when you watch this, you'll want to do business with me. You're like, hey, you know what? He's spot on. He knows what he's talking about. It's working. Obviously, that's what you want to do. And I'm just trying to tell you how to do that. But at the same time, I'm doing it at the same time. Does that make sense? Hopefully. So again, how are you serving your clients first? You want to focus about giving first, not about trying to get their business, and because nobody wants to be told what they need. They want to come across it themselves and see like, hey, this is really valuable. I really like this. I want this. This is perfect for me. This solves my problem. This is exactly what I want. And obviously, I'm here saying I'm the solution. I will make sure this works for you, and so forth. Or hopefully you're doing that with your offer. So offer examples. Join the free 30-day green smoothie challenge. This is an awesome offer. Tons of people are going to gave their name and email for this, and then obviously over time through videos and sequencing and consistently building trust, credibility, and positioning, it made it really easy to sell fitness, nutrition, and other things, because at that point you've given so much that people want to do business. Same thing, free training session, how to build large email lists and audience from scratch. You can reserve your seat. You have social proof of 90,000 people like this, right? So people want this and they want to build a large email list because they understand that then they can make sales from their email list. 11 advanced SEO hacks for more targeted traffic. Fast, click here, they download information, get video, all that stuff. How to get 30 to 50 high ticket coaching and consulting clients every single month with predictability down to the dollar a day. So again, it's so irresistible. Everybody wants 30 to 50 high ticket coaching clients, and they want to make those sales. They want to learn that information and so forth. Now you got their information, right? They either gave you their phone number, they gave you their email, they gave you the information. Now you can do what's called following up in email marketing. So a simple strategy, how you did that. So we drove traffic to a landing page that had that offer on there. They opted in. Now it's about being entertaining, engaging, and getting them to consume your content. If they don't open your email, obviously that's bad. If they don't engage with your content, that's bad. You're not serving them. So you have to go back and think, how can I serve them more effectively? So now you can send them emails, then also position your offer. Typically it's a 3-to-1. So every third email, you should try to get them to purchase something. The other one should be value, value. Try to get them to purchase something, value, 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 try to get something purchased. And then let's say they don't purchase, a small percentage or a large percentage of people aren't going to purchase, a small percentage are going to purchase because you were just that compelling and that entertaining and that amazing, right? Then you want to do the email nurture, welcome sequence, and follow up. So then it's just about being entertaining, engaging, getting them to consume your content, and really providing value to help them with their problems. If you can do that effectively, on average, about 70% of people are, based off of research, will come back and purchase. That's a large number. So this is why follow-up is so important through email, through texting, chatbots, all these things. Obviously, you can dive into all the different methods of doing that, and that's really it. So when you do those things really effectively, you will easily make 100,000. And if you have the right business, you'll be able to scale it to 200,000, 500,000, $1 million, 2 million, 5 million, 10 million, so forth. But you have to look at your business model and is it scalable? So a lot of people don't start a business that is scalable. So for example, if you're a personal trainer and that's what you do, Well, it no longer becomes scalable because you can only work so much. You only trade your time for so much money, right? So you can't, there's not more hours in the day. You can go into online training. You can create courses. You can do coaching. You can do group or instead of just private, you can do group classes, boot camps, all these things. There's different models that you can do to be able to scale it. You can sell supplements. You can sell, all different other things that then makes it scalable to generate more money from, online sales and group classes and all these things. No different from any other business out there. There's ways to, one, increase that ticket value. So let's say you sell a product for $19 and I worked with a business and that's all they had. So we need to help work on creating, because their average ticket was $19, especially if you're talking about advertising. Advertising is really expensive these days. So it was tough to get a profit, a return on investment, on ROI, on advertising that product. But we came up with new SKUs, increased that, and did upsells, then created an average ticket value of about $225. So then they became extremely profitable. And now it's just about consistently, with predictability, getting sales every day, every week, every month that hit our numbers from that calculator standpoint to be able to reach 100,000. At that point, they were already in the 5 million range and growing. So it's consistently about, how can I get a purchase every day, every hour, every second, and then grow that and have a system in place to be able to, manage those clients, manage those sales, manage the manufacturing out and all that stuff. And like I said, scaling is a lot more complicated, or it's not necessarily more complicated, but it's for a different video. This is how to get from $0 to $100,000, where I think most people struggle from an entrepreneur standpoint. So now we covered the system, we covered obviously the business model aspect. Now it really comes back to you. So do you have the dedication, the discipline, and the wherewithal to put in that effort, take your time and energy, and focus on what you need to do? Specifically, you have to focus on generating new business and then retaining that business. So if it's a service-based business, you have to hit X amount of clients. Once you hit that X amount of clients, then you have to work on, if you want to go up past 100,000, now I might need to bring in people and pay them to then be able to scale this, because you got really good at generating business. Obviously, that's why people hire me, because they may be great at their business. They might not be great at getting sales, doing advertising, bringing in consistent sales on a regular basis, generating leads on a consistent regular basis, and so forth. But this video is really hopefully so you don't make the mistakes starting off and don't get stuck in a bad business model or charging too little or giving up too soon, right? You have to put in the work. You have to put in the effort. It falls back on you if you're going to get to 100,000. Typically, that's not on people. When you start to scale it to 200,000, 500,000, a million, 5 million, then it's about hiring the right people and having systems in place and managing them effectively. So the systems now of you consistently bringing in business can, multiply massively to hit that $1 million mark, $5 million mark, and $10 million mark. But that's a different video. Like I said, the main thing when you want to get 100,000 is really figure out the business model, the business that you want to do. Make sure you know how many clients or how many products you need to sell to get to 100,000 per year. And then from there, it's just putting in the work. You can do it, but it's not going to be easy. You have to have the grit. You have to be willing to fail. You have to be willing to fight and consistently push your way to it. But always, like I said, make sure your numbers math out and they work, and you look back at your business and saying, hey, look, this is really good. I love my model. It's going to be successful. And then, hire coaches, consultants to make sure you're not making mistakes. You want to get experts to work with you so you can be far more effective and make sure you're headed on the right path to success. And like I said, hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully you liked it, and you keep pushing to make sure you achieve your goals. All right, take care. Thank you.